In the last few years, the design process for buildings seems to evolve toward a more data-driven methodology. From the concept of digital twins to the normalized extreme construction of windowless data centers, an IoT-based design is on demand from clients, and design firms are responding. Clients aware of the incoming futures are not only asking for buildings, but they are also asking for solutions to maximize the impact that the building will have on the emerging data cloud systems that are rapidly shaping our cities. The lockdown period shifted our priorities. Understanding of space and the working from home stage exponentially skyrocketed the influence of smart devices in our daily lives. Major tech companies are capitalizing on this data and making it a primary currency. Because now they have monopolized this data, they have established complete control. Hassel researcher Daniel Davis defines how the influence of data failed its course when meeting the field of design. As designers, we learn to think about data as a cutting-edge process, where a number of technologies are involved, and the complexity of the problem might be leading us to classify these tasks as not entirely for design. What emerges from Daniel's analysis is that, as a matter of fact, between designers, data-oriented design is more often interpreted as a service more than a discipline to coexist with and learn from. Mauricio Loyola from Princeton University says in his essay, Big Data in Building Design, compared with other industries, the use of big data is substantially less developed in the architecture, construction, engineering, and operation AECO industry. Available examples are mostly experimental, limited in scope, and without an obvious transferred practice. Autodesk, as one of the more popular software development businesses targeting designs, is aiming to provide the right tools to the designers of the future, and in the last few years, started shipping up-to-date products for the industry. Between their focal points, there is the IoT API, as access to historical and time sensor data, and a number of visualization integrations. Autodesk features the digital twin as a major idealization of the IoT environment and prepares a set of tools that allows designers to include live data and analytics into their process. ScienceSoft, featured as one of the major IoT companies on Software Testing Help, has a specific section of the company investing effort in the topic of smart cities technologies and construction processes. We should not consider IoT platforms as a new subject to be explored, or perceive them narrowly as such. IoT platforms are highly integrated in our daily life. We are constantly immersed in platforms that link our actions to data, and even from a design standpoint, it might be counterproductive avoiding this reality. Good news is, IoT networks can be highly informative in the design process, and if criticized to not be considered helpful in a creative process, they could still help lead conversation with the client. In this dynamic digital environment, how can designers lead and start working effectively toward a practice that includes these cutting-edge technologies? As inferred from the previous sources, there are multiple ways and scales that IoT platforms can impact the field of design, and talking too abstractly is not helpful. Let's just think about the area of influence of a device as Alexa by Amazon has inside our houses and its repercussions. We might be thinking of area of influence as a physical perimeter that a device is influencing. However, what IoT devices taught us is that the area of influence is unlimited in space and time. In the Amazon documentary Amazon's Empire, where it is explained the revolutionary cloud computing system that Amazon built, James Bandler from ProPublica reviewed the sphere of influence and potential that the unprecedented cloud network is growing. He says that AWS, Amazon Web Services, is not only a self-supporting system, it is a system that everyone relies on, also the government. This assumption makes clear how multidisciplinary and advantageous is the concept of IoT in the sphere of cloud computing, but also how inexistent are the alternatives to this model. Alexa is a receiver, a plug and outlet in our private spaces that empowers a structure that is much wider than the perimeter of our rooms. As a designer, accommodating this new dynamic enlarged space seems to be the very next challenge of the practice. How can we narrow down some problems and take action for them? There is no specific boundary to define the answer to this question if not providing a very specific use case. However, a common ground that might be helpful to get us started is the assumption that today we can think about buildings as physical and digital entities, pre-construction and post-construction.